Now turning to our program, please welcome Vicki Martin, retired president of Milwaukee Area Technical College, to introduce today's speaker.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be with you today and an honor to introduce the leader at the helm of MATC, our 11th president, Dr. Anthony Cruz. When he's not leading Wisconsin's largest technical college with over 30,000 students annually, he enjoys pickleball. His talent for strategic moves on the court should be useful when leading an organization as dynamic and diverse as MATC, as well as developing those relationships and connections. For me, any sport that has the word kitchen in it, I'm all in. Since taking on his role in July of 2024, and I think this is like right around the time, right? This is the day. He's been leading MATC towards an exciting future. He brings over 28 years of higher ed experience, including significant leadership roles at various esteemed colleges across the country. Most recently, he was president of Kendall Campus at Miami-Dade College in Florida. What truly shines through with Dr. Cruz is his students' first philosophy, fostering a culture rooted in equity and excellence. He champions employee service and seeks input from everyone, ensuring every voice is heard and valued. He is also strengthening connections with district residents, regional business partners, and other educational institutions. Dr. Cruz believes in collaboration reflected in initiatives like presidential roundtables and Voice of the College live sessions. His dedication to fostering this caring culture at MATC, focused on student success and celebrating incredible service, is truly inspiring. Under his leadership, MATC is launching its new 5-year strategic plan called Ascend Together, a roadmap for growth and success. This plan will drive bold new targets in student success, caring culture, and community trust. It's an exciting time for MATC and our entire community. Today, Dr. Cruz will reflect on his impactful first year, sharing insights into our community's educational needs, discussing MATC's strategic plan, and unveiling new initiatives. MATC is a critical resource for students, employers, and our community. His dedication to community, education, and creating an inclusive environment embodies the Rotary value of service above self. His first year has been a success, and we are fortunate to have him here so we can hear more about it. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Anthony Cruz.
Well, good afternoon. And thank you so much, Dr. Martin, and thank you so much for the tremendous service that for your 10 years as president at MATC. And I know those are difficult shoes to fill, but I am really glad to be here with you today. This does mark my 1-year anniversary, both at the college and here in Milwaukee. The best thing about it is that we're back in summer. This is the best part of it. Coming from Florida and spending most of my life in Florida, I did live in other places like Cincinnati, St. Louis, and Chicago, but coming just from Florida, winter was a little bit difficult, but I hear that that was a mild winter, right? And so I don't know what the future holds, but nonetheless, I look forward to many, many winters here in Milwaukee. And you know, one of the things that, as I've talked to so many leaders and individuals across, not just on our campuses, but also in the community, is that you hear about the real need to extend opportunity across all zip codes. And we know, and I strongly believe, that MATC is really a great opportunity to increase this in our community. If you look at our students, nearly half of our financial aid students will come into the college with earnings of less than $30,000 a year. But upon graduation, our students are graduating with an average of $50,000 after finishing a 1-year or 2-year program. And this is what I call real economic mobility. And I believe that that is bold, and we will continue to be bold in our initiatives, but I know that we can do more. And I'll share a little bit more about that in a few moments. But first, I just want to give you a little bit of the breadth and depth of what MATC is all about. In conversations with key leaders around the region, I found that everyone knows something about MATC at some level. Still, the more they learn, the more they are impressed by what we do and what we can do as we work together. At MATC, we serve the region with 5 primary locations: in downtown Milwaukee, Mequon, Oak Creek, West Allis, and our center in Walkers. We have 180 academic programs. More than 900 partners help us craft the courses and the curriculum that is delivered by our world-class faculty to really make sure that the skills that employers are looking for are being met by the students that graduate from our institution. And we will always need that type of expertise from our community. It's vital to understand the needs of industry and the workforce. We are also the home to an award-winning Milwaukee PBS. And I'll tell you just a personal note from just about Milwaukee PBS, but PBS in general. I'm a huge fan of PBS. I remember as a child watching so many different programs, and as a child of Cuban immigrants, I learned most of my English watching Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, The Electric Company, Zoom, all these great shows. Unfortunately, at this time, I just want to say that we're struggling a little bit with that because the federal government, it looks like it's holding back the funding that we need to not just run our PBS station, but run PBS stations across the country. So as a side note, but very important one, I want you to keep that in mind, and please take the time to reach out to your legislators, particularly at the national level, to make sure they understand the importance of PBS and what it brings to all of us as individuals and as a community. We're also fortunate to have a diverse revenue stream. And as a college, that includes the tuition, including financial aid, local property taxes, state aid, and federal support. But it's also essential our public-private partnerships. And these are critical for our students and our community, including generous scholarships like the MATC Promise that Dr. Martin started in her tenure there, the Chakotah MATC Scholarship, the Freighter Memorial Hospital Scholarship, and many more. Each of these is essential to serving our local community and our students. Now, we're a college, right? So at the center of it all is what? Students. Students are the center of our work, what we do, and make sure that we're providing the services that they need and the support that they need in order for them to become part of the backbone of our region's workforce. We serve more than 30,000 students each year. The average age of an MATC student is 29 years old, and most of our students go to the college part-time, which means that they're doing a balancing act. They're doing balancing between their college work, their jobs, and their families. And that's why we're here to support them. We're supporting them in so many different ways. And one way is by providing to them a comprehensive array of academic programs and services that meet the diverse needs of our students and the evolving needs of our regional economy. Our 180 college-level programs include associate degrees, certificates, technical diplomas, and apprenticeships. We also offer GED, adult high school, and English as a second language courses that meet the needs of our community. We also are continuing to grow our dual enrollment offerings. More and more students are graduating from high school with college credits. And we're so proud of our relationship and the partnership that's been going on now for a decade between UWM, MPS, and MATC through M-Cubed. This relationship is continuing to grow and trying to make a difference in the lives of students and their families. More students are entering college because of this program and also exploring their careers. Over the past 2 years alone, MATC college credits earned by high school students across our area has grown by 18%, and we want to grow that even further. When we're looking at the largest programs by enrollment at the college, you will see that our function is both of a technical college and a community college. We offer career-ready programs led by instructors, teaching industry-driven curriculum so students are ready the first day after they graduate. Among some of the most popular programs that we have are registered nursing, practical nursing, and business management. We also offer the opportunity for students to take the first 2 years of their bachelor's degree at MATC, and that's represented by our Associates of Arts and our Associates of Science programs. Regardless of whether they're coming to train for a career, to transfer, or to do both, our graduates stay here in Wisconsin. More than 90% of MATC alumni work here in this state, and most of them here in Milwaukee. The college and our graduates generate $1.4 billion in economic activity every year, according to labor market analytics firm Lightcast. Like other colleges, we receive federal support, and most significantly through financial aid. Last academic year, MATC students received $24.6 million in Pell Grants and $25.7 million in loans. And we have student supports services that are funded by Federal Perkins program and also a very robust work-study program. And you know, I've lived now in several states and have worked at many institutions. And I have to say, I am very thankful to be here in Wisconsin and because of our Wisconsin Technical College system. We are fortunate because it's a collaborative system and we share best practices. And really at the end of the day, we're here together to meet the individual and the workforce needs statewide. So I'm very thankful for that. And our President's Association and everything that we do at the state level is extremely collaborative and very happy for that. So my commitment is to raise the profile of MATC so we can serve more people and deliver the skilled, talented workforce that our region needs. In keeping with this pledge, MATC launched our new strategic plan, Ascend Together. This plan will serve as a guide of building a shared, focused future for an MATC that achieves even higher levels of success. And we are focused on 3 main priorities: student success, community trust, and a caring culture. This year, we're advancing those priorities through goals such as growing enrollment by 5% so more students can achieve their economic mobility that I just talked about before. This would be the 4th straight year that we've had an increase in enrollment at the college. Helping more students continue from fall to spring semester so they can stay on track for graduation. And helping more students with the supports they need to go full-time so they can graduate faster and get into the workforce faster as well. These annual goals will help achieve what I call bold targets. And this brings me back to what I mentioned before, economic mobility. So if we look 5 years down the road to 2030, the bold targets are to bring our enrollment back to levels that we have not seen in a decade, to achieve formal recognition by the Carnegie classifications as an institution that provides greater college access and increasing student earnings. This classification is something brand new for 2-year colleges. It just came out a couple of months ago. The classification has been around for a long time when it comes to research universities across the country, but now they've applied some new metrics when it comes to 2-year colleges. And they measure 2-year colleges on two aspects: access and student earnings. When it comes to access, there's 3 tiers. We are at the top tier. We're a 2-year college. We have tremendous access that we provide to students from all over the region. Earnings, student earnings. We need to work a little bit on that. We still are not where we need to be, and right now we're in the 3rd tier, and I would like to see us move to that 2nd tier where most 2-year colleges in the country, that's where they are, with the eventual goal of reaching the top tier. But that's something that I believe is essential for us not only to just increase enrollment, but to really increase social and economic mobility through higher wages. So my commitment is to intensely focus on connecting students to careers that will truly provide family-sustaining wages and capable of ending generational poverty. So Rotarians, I challenge you. We rise by lifting others. We thrive by caring deeply. And we succeed when we expect more from ourselves, because community and our community deserves nothing less. So I hope that you will help me and join me in this effort. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Cruz.
Thank you.
If anybody has any questions, we'll open up the floor now.
So thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
It was announced recently that one of our favorite restaurants down in the 3rd Ward was closing for the evening because they couldn't get a chef. Mm-hmm. And I know that you have a culinary department.
We do.
Is there concern about trying to improve the number of people that are entering that field, or what's going on to address that approach? COVID really took the wind out of so many other restaurants in particular. So
We've seen a slight decline in that program and the culinary program at the college, and that's something that we're working on to see if we can increase those numbers. But yeah, definitely there's been a decrease from where we were several years ago. Thank you.
Dr. Cruz, thank you so much for your service and for being such a pickleball champion too. I see you out of the courts.
Not a champion, both.
Well, you're
player.
out there playing hard. With the change in priorities in the federal government with regard to the education support and financial and the budget, do you foresee challenges? And if you do, how do you intend to meet those challenges? Especially with, I know with the loans, student loans as well, that could be affected.
Well, I think that one of the big things that that we struggled with just the last few months were some proposed changes to Pell Grant. And the Pell Grant is so essential for our students. More than half of our students depend on Pell Grant to attend the college. And we're thankful that those changes that were proposed did not happen. So it was more about increasing the number of credit hours that students have to take in order to receive Pell. And so that when it got to the Senate, and then they got to, finally, everything was voted on, it was not passed, which is a good thing. But we have to keep that in mind. It may occur again in the next budget cycle. Definitely has a big impact on us because of so many students that need Pell Grant. We do have a few other programs that depend on federal government and the federal government funding, such as Perkins. I'd mentioned before, there's some student service related positions that are directly supported by those Perkins dollars. That seems to be okay for right now. There are some dollars that right now that we're struggling with, which is basically funds that we get from the federal government that are actually managed by the state, which have to do with community education. And I just mentioned before the GED and the English as a second language. That's something where if they're withholding some funds right now, this is nationally, not just here, but nationally, if that continues to be the case, then we're gonna have to look at other ways of how we're going to be able to fund those community education programs. And those community education programs actually are mandated by the state. Thankfully, for many, many years, they've been funded through the federal government, give them the money to the state would give us that money. Right now, we're in the situation where we're examining this very closely. We want to make sure that we continue to provide the levels of education that we have been in the past, particularly in these areas of community education. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and we may have to restructure things the way we currently offer them. But nonetheless, we will make this a priority because we want to make sure, number one, we have several individuals that are obviously employed through that grant. But in addition to that is the education that we provide to our community to make sure that individuals get that basic education that they need in order to get to college or to get a job in wherever the case may be, or learn English. So we're definitely very cognizant of the things that have been happening. It's been very turbulent the last several months. I expect things to not necessarily get better, but we're learning as we go by and as time goes by here, and learning and making sure that we're going to be able to address these issues. Again, most of these issues are financial, and the college right now is in a very good financial shape. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to do the things that we're doing and making sure that we're addressing the needs of the community.
As we think about the strategy of ascending together, could you speak to how the college meets the needs of our veterans who've served the nation and deserve to get greater access and more stability in their lives?
For sure. I mean, veterans are a very important part of higher education in general. And the college has a Veterans Center on our campus, and we have support that we provide to our veterans. So that's something that we're going to continue to do, and make sure that we do more outreach to our veterans in the area and the community to make sure they understand the opportunities that are available to them through the college, because it's not just about the academic access, but it's also about the right support services. So in addition to the support services that all our students receive, there is additional layer of support that our veteran students get through our Veterans Center.
Thank you for sharing about the Ascend Together strategy. Wanted to ask, what role do you see MATC playing around micro-credentialing? So maybe like 20, 30, 40-hour programs, and how that moves into workforce development. And then how can different companies and organizations around Milwaukee and the greater Wisconsin area support some of those efforts around micro-credentialing?
And we'd love to do more of that. Couple of things. One of the things that happened from the legislation that just came out, where I talked about the Pell Grant, is that there's going to be an opportunity now, and I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out, but there is an opportunity to provide Pell Grant eligibility for those individuals in short-term certificates, which might be those could also translate into those micro-credentials as well. So I think that's a great opportunity that's going to be afforded to higher education institutions, particularly colleges like ours, that will be able to take advantage of that. But in addition to that, through our Workforce Solutions Department, we're looking at more ways that we can connect with businesses in the area, and how we can either partner with them to provide those micro-credentials, or if they need those micro-credentials, try to make sure that we get the right training in place to do that. So we're very nimble. As a two-year college, we're very nimble when it comes to providing these opportunities. But definitely, if you look at the landscape of higher education, and you look at just education in general, it's just post-secondary education, micro-credentials are becoming something that's becoming more and more prevalent, and something much more necessary as people move through their work lives. They're going to go from, they may have a bachelor's degree, sometimes even a master's degree, but things shift in the economy, in the workforce, and those micro-credentials are very important in order for them to move on to that next job, next career, and make sure that they are successful. Sure.
Hi, Dr. Cruz.
Hi.
I was hoping you could talk a little bit about the M-Cubed program, how it plays into the Ascend Together, and especially given the recent transitions, not only with your role, but also with UWM and MPS.
Yeah, so now I'm the senior executive, right? As part of the M-Cubed. I came in as the junior, and now I'm the senior, so it's quite interesting. But yeah, definitely is part of that. How we can expand what we're currently doing with M-Cubed. M-Cubed there's so many different facets to M-Cubed. I mean, we're talking the dual enrollment. There's also a Smart Start summer program. There's other programs that are associated with M-Cubed. We want to make sure that we are increasing the opportunities for students that are currently in high school, particularly in MPS, and giving them really a pathway to either MATC right away or to UWM, or to come to MATC first and then transfer to UWM. So it is definitely part of this plan, and there's a lot of goals associated with this, and many of them are going to be on a yearly basis in order for us to get to that enrollment goal that I had mentioned before. And we know that this partnership has been so critical the last 10 years. We want to make sure that not only do we continue what the program has been doing, but we expand it and we can touch more students in the city.
Hello.
Hi.
Quick question. So as you talk about ascending together, have you started to think about your imprint on the city as far as spacing and campuses? Or is there too much space? Is there not enough space? Is there the perfect amount of MATC? What is your thoughts on that?
I don't think we could ever be perfect. You know, one of the biggest transitions that happened during COVID that now continue is the number of courses that we offer virtually. And that's something that now students, as they've graduated from high school, and many of them went through that whole pandemic era virtually, have really appreciate the ability to have that flexibility. Not only the younger students, but also those students that come back. Like I said, average age is 29, so we get students of all ages that come back. But that flexibility of doing things virtually has really caught on, and is something that I think is here to stay. So great question about spaces and places. I don't see anything right now on the horizon where we would expand spaces, meaning other campuses throughout the county or the counties that we serve. But I do see opportunities to see where we can shift some programs or start new programs at certain locations. One of the things that happens in higher education, you know, we want to make sure that we are flexible and that we're meeting the needs of the businesses and the community. And in order to do that, we have to assess our programming, right? And what programs are out there, which ones are better suited to be in one place in the county or counties versus where they are now. So we're going to continue to assess that. There's already some movement that we're having, moving a few programs out to our West Allis campus, and also expanding. We'll be expanding our funeral services program, which is the only one in the state. And so, little by little, we're going to be assessing this and seeing where we can grow necessarily our footprint physically, but at least having the right programming where people can have access to them, whether they be virtually or in person.
Hi, thanks for being here. I was just curious as to what your strategy is around AI, in terms of the role you see that in educating, what your expectations around educators are as it relates to AI, and just strategically how you're viewing that and integrating that into what you're doing.
Sure, great question. And that's something that we had as a goal, I think the last couple of years. We started last year with a lot of emphasis on workshops for faculty to understand AI better and how they can incorporate AI into their classes, into the curriculum. And we're looking at other ways that we can incorporate AI into all facets of the college. To be honest, I think we're still at a very early stage, you know, when it comes to that. I realize that it is critical that we have some element of that. And there are some colleges where I just came from Florida. The college where I was had actually started the first bachelor's degree in AI at a two-year college. 4-year college. I mean, it's a 2-year college, but it offers 4-year programs. I don't know if that's the path forward. I think it's more about how we integrate it into different areas, the curriculum in different disciplines. Because I think AI is going to be part of most disciplines, and getting faculty accustomed and really comfortable with that idea is the first step. And that's where we are right now. But I see that in the next couple of years, that's something that we're going to have to put more emphasis on and more resources into to make sure that we're not left behind. Thank you.
I guess more of a testimonial rather than a question. So what a privilege for a kid to be able to go to any university these days, okay? So 2 out of my 4 kids One, we basically told them, we can help you with public education, okay? So one of my daughters went down to SIU in Illinois. One of my other daughters started at UWM. After a while, they just didn't do well. They came back to Milwaukee, and we basically told them, you know what? You guys got to pay yourselves. You just didn't perform. That was our sort of pact. Well, they went to MATC. My second oldest daughter went there for 2 years, then went over to UWM and got a technical writing degree, and now she's in a marketing job making exactly the kind of money you suggested. My other daughter, after a semester at UWM, same thing. She just didn't perform. Well, she went to your PA assistant program and now is doing very well. In fact, she's making as much as I did when I started as a physician about 37, 38 years ago. Wow. So, I marvel at that. Good for my kids because they learn lessons. Good for me because I don't have to write as many checks because they didn't perform and have the success that they do now. So bless you.
Thank you. I love the testimonial, yes. Thank you for that.
Thanks for the updates. I'm curious a little bit more when you were talking about that we're number one, and I think it's the offerings, but if you could expound a little bit more how we're on the lowest level on it's the starting pay or the pay scale coming out of school.
You have to.
You were talking about we're on the bottom third of.
Oh, the bottom third, yeah.
Yeah, how do we end up at that level if we have so much offerings and what we're doing on there?
That's a good question. I can't tell you how we got there, but I think that one of the things that I'm going to be looking at with my team is we have to look at, sometimes there are programs that are very popular, and some of those programs are not necessarily, maybe they were higher wage jobs in the past, and they no longer are at that higher wage, or maybe they're not even, they're not as popular, they're not as prevalent in the workforce. So we have to do a better job of looking at the programs that we have and what salaries our students are getting when they leave. The other issue is transfer. So we have I don't exactly know our transfer rate right now, but it could improve. And that transfer rate is also important because individuals that transfer from us go to a 4-year college or university, and then usually have higher earnings as well. So if we have higher rates of transfer, and we have programs that are that lead to higher paying jobs, which we have many of those, but then we have a lot of them that don't, right? And I don't know if necessarily it's about eliminating those programs, but it's about adding more that actually have that living wage. And so how does that happen? I think over time. I mean, we accumulate a lot of programs. We have, like I said, 180 programs. Do we need all of those? Maybe not. Maybe we do, maybe not, or maybe just change some of them and the focus of them. There's some of them that are maybe lower wage, but if the individuals went into actually became entrepreneurs in that area, they could actually have higher wages. So one thing that we've been talking about is how can we infuse some of the we have an entrepreneurship certificate. How do we infuse that into programs that may be lower wage, but trying to encourage those individuals that are going through those programs to do the entrepreneurship certificate and learn how to open their own businesses when they graduate. So it's a complicated, you're right, it's a great question. How do we get there? I really don't know, but I definitely think that for us to move up, from that third level to third tier to second tier, we have to make some changes when it comes to either the programs, adding a few, programs that may do that. In addition to that, working with the students that are currently in those other programs and how we can lift them as well.
Well, welcome again to Milwaukee.
Thank you.
You've talked a lot about M-cubed and your interactions across the state with other technical colleges. Can you expound on how you're working directly with companies and business in the community? And with Ascend Together, how would you like to greatly expand your reach into business organizations?
I definitely want to do more of that. I mean, in the past year, I've met with many people that represent businesses in the Milwaukee area and had conversations. I want to expand that. I want to increase that. We do a lot of work also. Our foundation, the MATC Foundation, has done a lot also in expanding those relationships as well. So I'm not just looking for, obviously, I would love to have more scholarship dollars to give to our students through those relationships with businesses, but I'm also very interested in forming bigger and stronger relationships with businesses to provide more internships and more apprenticeship opportunities for our students. So I'm open to always having a conversation on how we can help in doing that. And it may be that we may have to, like I said, we're flexible. So is it incorporating some new non-credit programming that those businesses may need? Or is it maybe if we have enough demand to create a new program, a new credit program that may help those businesses achieve their goals? Either way, I'm always looking for opportunities to do that and to expand the reach that we have as a college. I'm always open to any of you here or anybody that you know that represents a business, whether it be a very large corporation or a medium-sized company or even a small business. I think those are all opportunities that we can have to have better relationships, stronger relationships that can increase the partnerships.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.